will be talking about topic 5. We're just going to be reviewing what we learned today in class, which is the interest rate parity. So you may ask, what is the interest rate parity? Well, the interest rate parity is basically the relationship, between the observed premium. So observed prem, I'm just gonna say prem, and the implied premium. Okay. So basically, it's very easy to understand. I'm just gonna use simple term. OP equals IP. Okay. And you may ask, what is the observed premium and what is the implied premium? Well, the observed premium, so OP, is basically the forward premium. Okay, forward premium. This is just the terms, or discount. Okay, or discount. And you may ask, is there a formula for it? Yeah. So basically, the formula for this is just forward. Okay, forward rate minus spot rate all over spot rate, and this is basically its own. Okay, we can also see it in this way, where forward rate is where at 0 to 60 days, it's, for example, 60 days, or wait, actually, no, 0 and at whatever time, okay, T is in time, minus spot rate all over spot rate, okay, and this would give us a percentage. Now, what's IP? Implied premium. Okay, implied premium is basically the interest rate differential. Okay, interest rate I over R differential. Okay, and we can see this as the interest rate of the home country minus the interest rate of the foreign country. Okay, and this will give us a percentage, but the actual equation to this will be where 1 plus home currency, okay, all over 1 plus the interest rate of, this is basic interest rate, okay, interest rate of foreign currency all over minus 1, which will also give us the percentage. All right, so these are just the terms that you just should know, and that we talked about in class today was actually the interest rate parity line. So interest rate parity line. So this topic, okay, interest rate parity line. Okay. So basically, this is gonna be the graph that our professor talked about. The graph, we will see the typical y over x graph. But instead of y over x, let me make this graph straight. Okay. So the x will be our observed premium, OP, and it also was the forward premium. Okay. So forward prem, and the formula for it was F minus SO all over SO. Okay, spot rate. Okay. And this is also where the discount premium is. Okay. All right. Now, this is where I talked about earlier, the interest rate of home minus interest rate of F, which is the foreign, is basically implied as, let me forget the percentage, is implied as the implied prem. Okay. So IP. Okay. And just to remember, the formula for it will be interest rate, 1 plus the interest rate of home over 1 plus interest rate of foreign minus 1. It will also give you a percentage, okay? And this could be, both of these could be positive or negative, okay? Positive or negative, okay? So now, we're not done here, okay? Remember, this graph will always have this 45-degree line. And you may ask, what is this 45-degree line? Well, this 45-degree line is our interest parity, I believe. Yeah, interest rate parity. This is our topic, interest rate parity. Yeah, interest rate parity, IRP, interest rate parity. And basically, like we remembered, anything that's with the IRP will basically mean OP equals IP, and what it all means is there's no CIA. So what is CIA? CIA is the covered interest arbitrage. So anything that falls within CIA has an arbitrage opportunity. But anything that's on the IRP, so let's say point B, A, C, and point D, this basically means OP equals the IP, okay? The observed premium and implied premium equals each other, so there will be no CIA, which means there's no arbitrage opportunity. But let's say, for instance, there was a point out here, X, let's say this is Z, okay? And this is X, and this is Y. You know what, let's actually put Y up here, okay? Doesn't matter. So basically, now, this is not on the IRP line, the interest rate parity. This is actually an outlier outside the interest rate parity. So now we know that this point, Z, X, and Y can have an arbitrage opportunity because they're part of the CIA now. But how will we find those opportunities? Well, we can use this IRP line to see. Anything that falls below this line will be considered below the IRP line, and anything that falls above this line will be considered above the IRP line. So say here above is point Z, okay, and below is point X and point Y, okay? So now what does this all mean? Above, okay, what does this all mean? Okay, so basically when anything that's above the IRP line, the interest rate parity, anything that's above this line basically means, first, we borrow from foreign currency, okay? We borrow from foreign currency. Or we can start with, or like we already have foreign currency to start with, okay? Then, step 2, we sell, okay? The foreign currency, okay, at the spot rate to get home currency, okay? Then 3, we just basically invest the home currency we just got to home interest rate, okay? Then finally, once we get that total, we then sell the home currency we just got, our investment, to buy back our foreign currency, but at the forward rate, okay? Forward. So let's say F is 60 days later, and there's a new rate, okay? This new rate, okay? And then basically we just calculated to see if we made profit, okay? Profit. Okay. That's for the above. That's for anything that's above IRP. Now, there's a different scenario for anything that's below the IRP. So, below IRP. So, when below IRP, we basically borrow from home currency, okay? Then exchange, okay, so step 1, step 2, exchange home currency for foreign currency, okay? And doing the same thing, we will then invest in foreign currencies interest rate, okay? And then finally, we sell the investment to buy back BB home currency at the forward rate, okay? So anything that's in the forward rate to make profit, okay? All right, now we got this out of the way. Let's do an example. I'm just gonna get rid of these lines. So it's honestly pretty straightforward, guys. Maybe just a little refresher would be nice. before the test. Okay, so let's say scenario. Let's try a CIA problem. Okay, so CIA, the covered interest arbitrage. I still need to remember that term. So a CIA problem. Okay, so let's say in scenario one, let's say Dubs. Okay, our mascot. Dubs had 500K USD to invest. Okay, bro has a lot of money, right? But he doesn't want to make a mistake. Okay, and what we know that today, the spot rate for, let's say he wants to invest in the Swedish currency. Okay, so the Swedish currency is the Swedish krona. My bad if I said it wrong, but SEK. Okay, that's the abbreviation. Okay, so let's say today's spot rate for 1 unit of the Swedish currency is 0.110. So basically 11 cents for 1 unit of the Swedish krona. Okay. Now, let's say Dubs basically want to get his investment back by 60 days, and you know this, that 60 days forward rate. Okay, forward rate. This is already planned out. Okay, forward rate is, let's say there was a decrease in the exchange. So we'll say F60 equals USD for SEK equals 0.108. There's not much of a difference, right? But it still makes up a lot. Okay. So now where do we go from here? We also know that the 60 days interest rate for both countries. Okay, so 60 days interest rate for, really important. Okay, before we go to that, so let's say USA has a 1% and Sweden has a 2%. Okay, and we would just basically write it as interest for US is 1%, just to be familiar with the, let's put S as Sweden. Okay, familiar with the formulas. Okay, so now we know that, and we're not annualizing anything, so there is no need for any adjustment. Okay, so now really important. Okay, before we start any step, always choose your home country. Okay, home currency. Is it home country? Yeah, choose whoever is your home country. Okay, currency country. Okay, so home currency, Dubs is going to use home currency as USD, and foreign currency will be the SEK. Okay, that's just a reminder. Okay, so when we jump into our steps, it'll be easier to see which one we're using. Okay, so now step 2, we'll be trying to figure out if there is a CIA opportunity, if there's any arbitrage opportunities. So remember, so let's say step 1, remember this, step 2. Okay, so now remember to see is by calculating if observed premium, OP, is equal to or does not equal to implied premium. If it's equal, it means it's on the IRP line. Okay, the interest rate of parity, which means there's no arbitrage opportunities. So now we'll see this by, okay, so observed premium. Okay, OP equals F minus SO over SO. Okay, and we will know that forward rate is 0.108 minus 0.110 all over 0.110. And this will give us around 1.81 0.82% negative. Okay? And note that we always have to, when we write these out, to have 4 decimals. Okay? So like when rounding issues don't really impact it as much. Okay? So now implied IP equals 1 plus interest rate of H over 1 plus interest rate of F minus 1, which means that 1 plus 1% over 1 plus 2%, just put brackets, minus 1. Okay? So this means that after calculating, we'll get negative 0.9804%. Wow, look at this. Negative 1.8 and then negative 0.9. The implied is not equal to the observed, and it's also greater. This is also greater, okay? And let's see, these two does not equal. So that means we have a CIA opportunity. We have an arbitrage opportunity. So now let's just do a quick graph, okay? So quick graph, doesn't need to be fancy, just need to see what it looks like. So on the OP, this is OP, remember OP and IP, okay? This is OP, so negative 1.8182, and then IP equals negative 0.9804. Don't forget our 45-degree IRP line, and these intersect right here. This is where our point is, and look, it is above, so that means we'll have to invest in foreign currency, okay? So now let's get into the actual problem, okay? So back to scenario 1. Scenario 1, okay? So we know that Dubs had 500K to invest, okay? Now, what we also know is that he will be buying the foreign currency, okay? So foreign currency will be the SEK, so it'll be, okay, let's say USD, okay? Make sure we can put down our labels. So USD over SEK equals 0.110 at spot, okay? Spot. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have to buy the foreign currency. So we gotta get rid of the USD unit. So very simple way, 500K, right? USD, we're just gonna divide it by the spot rate, 0.110 USD over SEK. Then these crosses out, and then we will get 545,000. There we go. 454.545 SEK. Okay. Okay, so that's our conversion. Okay, so now we have this much in the Swedish krona. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But that doesn't matter right now. So then we will invest this amount, okay? Let's say step 2, okay? Let's say that was step 1. So now step 2, using the 4,949 SEK, okay? Make sure my S looks like S, not 5. SEK, I can just put this bracket around here so it doesn't get confusing. Now we're gonna invest it into Sweden's interest rate, okay? So we know that the interest rate of Sweden is 2%. So now it's just basic math. This 4,545,454.545 times, multiplied by 1 plus 2%, okay? So basically 102%, okay? The 1 being 100, okay? Then this will give us this will give us the investment that we actually got, okay? Amount. So we invested into the 2%, and then the invested amount that we got is $4,636,363.636 SEK. Okay, so now let's say this all was in the spot timeline. Okay, now T equals 1, which is basically the forward. Just from here on out, we're gonna start doing the forward, right? Okay, so step 3, we will sell, step 3, sell our newly invested amount, SEK, to buy back the USD at the forward rate, okay? So forward rate, let's say here forward, and 0.60, okay, equals, this equals 0.108 USD, okay? So now, from here, basically, we just buy it back, so convert this amount times, multiply by by the rate, okay, forward rate, okay, USD, and over SEK. So basically, the SEK cancels out, and our new US total will be equal to $500,727 and 27 USD. Okay, this is the amount that we received after exchanging. Now let's find profit that we got. Okay, so this basically, let's just go from here minus the amount that we initially had, and this would give us $727 USD. This is our profit, and it's a positive, so we made profit. But we'll see if the return was better or worse than the US interest rate, okay? So to figure out the return, this is, let me say profit, okay? The return, so the return is our profit, all divided by the amount that we invested, okay? USD. After calculations, we get a percentage of a return of 0.145%. Womp womp. And let's compare if this was a good return. So 0.145, step 6%, and it's less than the 1% that we had with the interest rate of the home currency, which is the US. So this is bad, okay? It's not a good return. So honestly, what should Dubs done instead? He should just put his 500K into a savings account, and then you would have got a 1% interest rate. Yep, so that would be scenario 1, okay? So now we're gonna be talking about scenario 2. Let's say Dubs was from Sweden, okay? And he had an equivalent of 500K USD worth to his SEK, okay? His Swedish krona. And from here, basically, we already know that the spot rate is, for 1 unit of SEK, is worth 0.110 USD, okay? And basically, let's say, after converting, right? So 500K divided by 0.110, he will have 4,545,454.545, okay? Okay, so this would be the amount that he had, okay? So basically, this is what we're gonna be talking about. Let's say Dubs was a Swedish guy, he had this much amount, and basically after multiplying back to the spot rate, you'll have USD 500K, okay? And this is basically, let's put, okay? Always remember, home currency, let's say is the SEK, and the foreign will be the USD, okay? So now, okay? Or it doesn't matter, okay? Like honestly, even if Dubs was still American and he had his USD, and let's say his grandma gave him this amount, we can still convert it, okay? But right now, let's just say the home country was Sweden, and he's trying to invest into the USD, okay? So now, with the 500K that he got, okay? So after that, with the 500K, he will then, so after selling his Swedish money, he will buy the USD, which is 500K that he has now. Basically just a quick conversion. Now he's gonna invest it, okay? So this was step 1, and now step 2. Same deal. Invest 500K USD to the US, which has an interest rate of US, and which has an interest rate of 1%, okay? So 1% here. What does that tell us? Okay, so then 500K times 1 plus 1%. Okay, we're not going to do any decimal here. So basically 500K, this would equal, so after investing the USD that he got into the US market with interest rate, he would then get a total of $505,000 to his investment. This is in USD. Okay, so after getting $505,000 that he received from his investment, he would want to sell it back to get his Swedish money. Okay, so step 3, to sell back. Okay, 505,000 USD, and we're gonna multiply that. We're gonna convert it back using the forward rate. Okay, so we know that the forward in 60 days was 0.108 USD. Okay, so basically instead of multiplying to get SEK, he would be dividing. Okay, so 505,000. Okay, that's the amount that he got, divided by 0.108 USD or SEK. Boom, USD. Boom. Okay, so then this would give him his Swedish krona back, which would give him 4,675,925 and 926 SEK. Okay, now we'll see how much profit we got. Okay, so profit, let me see if I wrote that right. I was at 925.926 SEK minus the amount that he initially had it, before he invested, 545.545. It's like a phone number, you know. We put the bracket so it doesn't kind of look confusing. So after this, he made a wealthy investment of 130,471.3809 SEK. That's how much he got. So that's the profit from his original amount. And after he invested it, he got this much back in his home currency. So now let's see if this return was good, okay? So return, so this basically just from here, divided by the original amount he had. So same thing. EK. So after that, you should get 2.87% in his return. Okay, so this was the profit, and then bottom down here is the return. And to see if this was a good return, well, we know that 2.87 is greater than 2% of the Swedish interest. No, Sweden interest rate. Okay, so this was a good investment. So if he were to put it into a savings account, he only got 2% return, but instead he got a 2.87% return. Okay, so yeah, thank you for watching. Hope this helped, guys. Hopefully this helped you. This definitely helped me after like going through it again. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.